What's up, family? This is Donovan Green from Ride Fit Nation. Today I want to talk about something interesting to all of my riders. If you are a rider, then this video is for you. I want to get you involved in the conversation. So as I'm sitting here waiting for the parts for my motorcycle, that could be hell if you're not patient enough, because now I have to get the clutch cable, because the clutch cable that I purchased for the bike for the handlebar transformation is not right, so I have to order a new cable, which is tomorrow. I didn't order it yet. All right, this is Sunday. I gotta wait until tomorrow. Then I have to wait for God knows how long to get the cables. But in the meantime, I still do other things. That's why I tell y'all, you don't need to be on a bike to have fun all the time. When your bike is out of commission, find other things to do. All right, so this is today's video. I want to get you involved. Doran, can you give me some paper towel, because it's burning up in this garage? And can you crack the garage door a bit for me? Let some air in here. This video, I'm gonna name 20 common myths that people with motorcycles, that's good, thanks buddy, that people with motorcycles have, myths, motorcycle riders, okay? And I just wanna hear your feedback. I'm getting this from hotcars.com, and I will link it so you can hear it. I'm gonna read everything. I did not look through the list. Honestly, I looked at the first two, and then I said, you know what? I'm gonna actually just read it live so we can be wowed and then together and see what you agree with, what you don't agree with. Okay, the first one, it says, helmets do more harm than good. Most countries have laws that require motorcycles to wear helmets. It says, one myth or misconception about helmets is that they cause more harm than good. Namely, that you are more likely to fracture your neck in an accident because the increased weight of the helmet will cause your head to move around. The reality is that most studies and statistics have found there is significantly lower chance of neck injury sustained by motorcyclists wearing helmets than those with no helmets. Now, I'm gonna tell you, I don't know who made that dumb myth that a helmet on your head is gonna make you have more injuries to your neck. Give me more injuries to my neck and less injuries to my head. I've seen some stuff on Instagram. I seen a guy riding his motorcycle. He came out of nowhere. As a camera, actually seen a bus first. The bus was making a turn, a left turn, and the bike just flew into the screen. Okay, the guy went flying, landed underneath the wheel of a moving bus. The helmet shattered, and this guy came out walking away. Okay, a full face helmet. I'm not talking about those little German helmets that some of y'all be wearing that that looks cool. I mean, you want people to see your face. I'm talking about the full face helmet, or even a half face helmet with the whole head protected and some visors to lift all the way up, okay? So what do you think about that myth? Let me know if you agree, if you don't. That's number 20. Number 19, helmets block your ability to see or to hear danger. It says this is not true, nor is it supported by statistics. Wearing a helmet actually does the opposite. The visor provides eye protection from wind, debris, allowing the rider to see better, unless you're in the rain and you get a lot of bugs slapping you in your face. Then you gotta wipe it off every few seconds. It also cuts down on wind noise so the rider can hear better. Facts. Yo, I've been riding for years. I've ridden with German helmets. I've ridden with full face, all kinds of helmets, okay? When you have the full face helmet on, it dramatically cuts down on wind noise, which hurts your hearing. It cuts down a lot of debris flying on your eyeball sockets, bugs going up in your nostrils, and all that. It says wearing a helmet does not increase the risk of having an accident. It certainly reduces the likelihood of serious injury. Why did I go back to that? The thing just skip it. Did I just say that? What just happened? Yeah, I'm right. The helmet. Yeah, helmets do not block your view either. When I put my full face on, I have no issues with my peripheral, none whatsoever. But I might be wrong. You tell me. But they do have some helmets that more modern, trying to look like Judge Dredd. I think that those helmets might be a problem. Here we go, number 18. This one I might be a little skeptical about. Might be biased. Loud pipes make riding safer. I agree, but I'll tell you why I agree before I even read this. When I'm on the local roads and my Harley is busting up that exhaust, I'm safer because people can hear me, because sometimes they can't see me. However, when you're on the highway, people don't really hear you unless you are in a group of people where they hear a bunch of bikes. When you're on a highway, it's different. Anyway, that's just my 2 cents. So it says on the surface, this common myth seems to make sense. The explanation goes, the louder the exhaust pipes on your bike, the more attention and awareness a biker will draw to themselves, and thus they will be safer. Motorcycle Cruiser magazine stated that riders with loud pipes actually crash more frequently than those with stock pipes. All right, you see my face, right? This statistic is backed up by physics. The exhaust pipes are on the back of a bike, and that's where the noise is directed. cars in front of the motorcycle might not hear them at all. And if the motorcyclist is crossing through the intersection, they're riding ahead of the noise. Studies show that wearing bold or bright colors on your helmet, gear, and clothing is more effective. Well, how about this? You get your loud pipes, you put on some loud clothing, and we're good. And get some lights, because I'm going to get more lights put on my bike too. I disagree with number 18 fully, okay? Loud pipes saves lives. I like that. Because when I'm in my car and I hear bikes, trust me, I'm looking, I'm more aware. So, can't agree with everything. Number 17, racing tires are safer than road tires. Okay, racing tires are made of different compounds and have different properties than road tires. So they're completely different from one another. They're designed to work best when it's really hot in order to create grip. They are meant to stick like glue from the heat cycle. This works well on a dry load, but it can be dangerous when riding in the rain. Racing tires have fewer grooves than street tires, so they can't channel water out of the way. A street tire will wear better, have more stability, and produces greater wet weather performance. Also, road tires have better grip at normal temperatures, giving you the consistent performance over many heat cycles. Now, I don't know why they had to go through all of that. Here goes the thing. Street tire, racing tire. Racing tires, real good for racing on the track, stuff like that. Street tires, really good for the streets. It is hot in here. You know what I'm saying? This is my sauna. I'm burning calories as I'm talking to y'all. How about that? Number 16. I'm going to go through this faster. You should lay down your bike if you're about to crash. Most accidents happen so fast that the rider is simply not going to have time to think about laying their bikes down. It's not like the movies, like you see, what's that, Mission Impossible, where Tom Cruise is doing all his stunts on his bike and laying his bike down with no helmet on. It ain't going to happen. This myth is counterintuitive. It doesn't make sense to crash every time you think you're going to crash, okay? This thinking comes from the idea that you'll be safer at ground levels rather than being thrown through the air. But if you try to slide into a vehicle, there's a good chance you'll end up slamming into it even faster. Also, rubber stops better than metal on the plastic. So instead of laying your bike down, it's better to try to reduce your speed as much as possible. Facts. If I throw a rubber band on the floor as fast as I can and try to get the slide on the ground, it ain't gonna go that far. But if I throw a piece of metal, it's gonna slide. It's gonna do that. You know what I'm saying? So no. Don't lay your bike down. The only time I say to lay your bike down is if you're at a stop sign or something, and your bike is actually tipping over to the point to where you can no longer control it. Let that bike go down. Try your best to get it down a little slower, but that's the only time I say lay your damn bike down, okay? Number 15, conventional brakes are better than anti-lock brakes. I hear a lot of things about that too. I don't know if you've heard about it, but I heard about a lot of ABS brakes are not safe. A lot of testing has been done to show that even on clean, dry, flat pavement, experienced and skilled riders stopped in a shorter distance with ABS, which means anti-lock brakes, than they did with conventional or linked brakes. ABS makes riding safer. I mean, think about it. When you're going to get your insurance, right, with the motorcycle or your car, they ask you, do you have ABS brakes? They give you discounts with ABS brakes. You know what I'm saying? I'm just throwing that out there. ABS makes riding safer, produces fewer crashes, and allows for shorter stopping distances. Sign me up. No matter how good of a rider you are, you can't predict what drivers ahead of you is going to do or will force you to do. With ABS, riders can brake fully without fear of locking up their tires. ABS automatically reduces brake pressure when a lockup is about to occur and increases it again after traction is restored. Yeah, sign me up on the ABS. Do you agree? Do you disagree? Racing tires will make your bike faster on the road. This is simply not true. Motorcycle racing tires are way different than road tires, as we've already established. You are really going to get a set of racing tires up to the proper racing temperature out on the highway. And there's a better chance that after you set off on your bike, you're going to fall off the first intersection. It's true. I'm never going to read the whole thing. Let's move on. Do you agree or not? I never had racing tires on my bike because I don't race. But what I can tell you is I'm a street guy. So put me on the street bike, you know, the bike with the street stuff and the lights and everything that's street legal, and I'm good. I don't need no racing tires. Hold on a second. Let me get a little bit of water as I move on to number 13. All right, number 13, you can avoid police radar. The theory here is that because your motorcycle is smaller than a car or a truck, you will be able to avoid police speed radars easier. This is a myth that hopefully not too many people believe. Just because your bike isn't as big as other cars on the road doesn't mean you can't dodge the radar. Doesn't mean you could dodge the radar. A radar device can clock the speed of a baseball. I'm gonna stop right there. All right. If any one of you who ride a motorcycle, I never even heard of this myth, but if any one of you watching this video right now, you ride a motorcycle and you feel like you can dodge a radar. I want you to take your bike and I want you to find the nearest pool and I want you to sit on your bike and ride your bike in the pool with it, because your bike will be able to float it's gonna dive and come up like a submarine, and it's gonna protect you from drowning. If you believe that, yeah. Let's move on. Number 11, inflated ryden. All right, I gotta read this. There's this inane idea that new tires come with a coating that can only be removed by riding them for a few miles underinflated. A coating, like not coating like code in a computer, but coating. It says, please don't believe this because you're going to hurt yourself. Most new motorcycle tires look like they have a coating on them, but that's because that's what they look like when they come out of a factory mold. Never reduce the pressure in your tires to try to scrub them in. Riding on an underinflated tire will cause them to flex, will damage the sidewall, and could potentially cause a blowout, which you obviously don't want. I'm going to move on from that one. Number 10, 18 to 25-year-olds are at most risk. There is some truth in this because novice riders certainly run a higher risk of injury due to lack of experience, and the majority of novice riders are between the ages of 18 to 25 age bracket. Before we go any further, I do agree with that. I'm one of those guys that believe that these younger riders, I think they ride bikes that's way too powerful, and their brains is just not fully developed, which, don't get me wrong, I see guys my age who ride bikes that's too powerful and their brains ain't fully developed, because I don't know why I see grown men doing these things, especially on touring bikes. I don't know what's going on, but that's bad. Let me move on. According to the NHTSA, I don't know who that is, latest findings of motorcycle fatalities, the biggest group of riders to meet that criteria in the United States of America are in the age groups of 40 to 55 years of age. I'm 46. I'm pretty sure you're close to me or older. All right, so NHTSA has been tracking this information for about 15 years, and more than 40% of all rider fatalities in the U.S. from traffic accidents had an average of 42 years old. So if you're a younger rider and you're planning on buying your first bike, tell the statistics to your relatives or family. I don't know if I want to believe that too much here. I think motorcycle companies have something to do with this research so they can get more people to ride your bikes. Yo, I'm sweating, Dorian. It's hot. But that's what I think. I don't believe that. I really feel like there's a lot to say about younger riders, which I know I've seen purposely and personally. And let me tell you, it's not good. Now, once again, it doesn't negate the older riders. But yeah, younger riders, stick to your little Kawasaki's or little Ninjas, or get something small. Don't try to go to no R1. What do they call it? R1s. Don't go to no Jixus 1000s, no Hayabusas. You know what I'm saying? Don't do that. Speaking of that, number 9, buy the bike of your dreams as your first bike. I absolutely disagree. I disagree. Unless your bike is a scooter, then buy it. All right? Let me read it. The theory here is that if you buy the bike of your dreams as your first bike, you learn to ride it sooner or later. All you need is experience. I like how they put this here. Wrong. This obviously depends on what your dream bike is, but before you spend big bucks on the coolest ride out there, check your budget. More important than the bike, arguably, is the safety gear you need, and not just a helmet. Gloves, boots, and good riding leathers are a must. Once you have those things squared away, then you can worry about what bike to get. Also, just because you have your heart set on a particular bike doesn't mean you should get it straight away. Do your homework at first. Buy something that matches your abilities. I agree 100%, okay? I'm a gun owner. I'm not going to go out there and buy me a freaking rocket launcher before buying me a little handgun, if I'm first learning how to shoot. I ain't doing that. I'm not going to go out there if I'm just learning how to fish and go and try to catch a whale. I ain't doing that. I want to catch the little small, tiny fish, the little fish that be in the little rivers that swim around that can't even bite the thing. I just want to practice with that, okay? So I disagree with that myth too. That myth is crazy. Do not buy the bike of your dreams. You don't buy the car of your dreams right away. You buy yourself a little hoopty. So when you press the alarm, it goes hoopty, 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 hoopty. That's what. Let me move on. Number 8, your motorcycle will make you irresistible to women. If that was the truth, I would not be married. Okay? I won't be married. If that was the case, you know what makes my motorcycle irresistible to women? It's me. Yeah. What? Hey, honey, I love you. I'm just joking. It says, we're not sure how many people believe this narcissistic idea, because it is. Hopefully not many. Chances are, if you were irresistible with a woman before you bought a bike, you might be even more so when you have one. It's true. That's what I'm saying. But you won't become that way overnight just because you have a bike. All right, there's a lot of fat dudes out there riding motorcycles with big guts. They got the bike, think it's gonna be a girl magnet, and they end up being stuck with the bike, and their guts is the magnet on the tank. You see what I'm saying? It is not a girl magnet. Don't believe what the movies say. As a matter of fact, a lot of women seem to be afraid of motorcycles now because it's just the I guess the bad boy image is kind of softening up now. It's kind of getting a little weak. All right, so no, if you have oil under your fingernails all the time and your leathers smell ripe after 8 hours of riding, or, well, they don't want to say ripe, but if your balls make your leather smell ripe, that's what I want to say, after 8 hours of riding, or she thinks your helmet hair is good looking, it's probably because she rides as well. You're going to attract the other women who ride. Yeah, that makes sense. Number 7. Do you agree with that, by the way? No, don't forget, go by the numbers, man. I need for you. Number 1, I agree. Number 2, I disagree. Number 7, people who ride motorcycles are low class. I never heard that one before in my life. I gotta read this. This by far one of the most demeaning and most perpetrated myths about motorcyclists out there. In truth, people from all walks of life ride motorcycles. There has been a shift in the way people think in recent years, thanks to the high-profile riders like Norma Reedus and Jay Leno. If you head to a bike rally, though, you'll see a mix of laborers, military veterans, doctors, service workers, lawyers, and others. This pastime of riding a motorcycle transcends the boundaries of race, gender, and class. I mean, that's so dumb. I don't even know why I even wasted my time reading that, but that's really dumb. I never even heard of that before. Number 6, you have to be a big man to ride a motorcycle. What do they mean by what's up, Titan? What do they mean by you have to be a big man to ride a motorcycle, okay? Let's see what that means. Before I even read it, I'm gonna just tell you what I think they mean by it. There are short people that are men and women who have problems, just vertically challenged, and they can't really get on a motorcycle because their legs is gonna dangle and hover all over the place, right? So I'm assuming that's what they mean. Let's read together. This one is partly based on reality, but for the most part, it's false. You do have to have a level of strength to ride a motorcycle, but not anything excessive. There are motorcycles that are built to fit everyone. The largest segment of new motorcyclists is women. And while some of these women might be able to bench press as much as men, for the most part, they are of average strength. I don't know what they mean there. I think they made a typo. They might not be able, that's what I think they want to say. You need strength to be able to maneuver and turn your bike and to direct it. But other than that, you don't have to be some grizzled, bearded guy who ride a motorcycle. I don't know. Because when they say you need to have strength to maneuver your bike, you don't need strength to maneuver your bike. The motorcycle, once you're moving on your motorcycle, that back wheel has power. The bike is moving. It's moving. You just dilly. The second you do like this, or when you counter turn, listen, you do a shift like this at about 10 miles an hour, 13, 20 miles an hour. You do like this, the bike is gonna go to the left. You do like this, when you counter steer, it's gonna go where you need. Man, listen. But what they did say that I agree with is find the bikes that matches your style of riding and matches your body type. Okay, I have a road glide. If you're a shorter person, I've seen the shorter women riding road glides, and honestly, they look cute because they're able to balance the bike a little bit. But the second that bike gets away from them a little bit, that's a wrap. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, they look nice and all that, but the second something happens, they're not going to have the power, the length, the reach to control that bike. So I'm sorry. I agree with that to some extent. Number 5, small objects on the road will make you crash. You make yourself crash. Small objects? Like what? Like pebbles? Like a chipmunk? Okay? A snake? You make yourself crash. Let me just read. There are many people out there who believe that if you run over as much as a pebble on a motorcycle, you're doomed. I know. I've seen people that do that. And you go flying into a ditch, never to be seen again. This is simply not true. Let me tell y'all, if you're a new rider and you see gravel and you get scared of that gravel, I'm promising you, you are going to fall. You're going to go down. Just not because of the bike, it's because of you, and you're gonna start to do all kind of wonky things. Just look straight ahead of you and ride the bike at a slower pace. If you try to go all fast and go crazy and you're in 5th gear and going at that tempo, guaranteed you're gonna go down. If this were true, you wouldn't see any motorcycles on the road. If you run over a small rock on the road, you feel much of what you feel in the car. You bump over the rock and keep going. If you run into a patch of loose gravel, however, or a pothole, you might experience some problems. But those aren't small objects. are they? And if you know how to ride properly, you should be fine. And I agree with that. Dorian, get Titan some water. Titan, go get some water. Go. Go, buddy, go get water. He spilled my water, and he's here drinking my water from the ground. Little water thief. And can you guys get me some water too, guys, please? With some ice? Titan, you're a little criminal. You're a criminal, okay? All right, number 4. We're moving, guys. You know, this is raw stuff, man. Using the front brakes flip you over the handlebars. The idea here is that you should stay off the front brakes if you want to stay on your bike because you flip over the handlebars. Thanks to the physics of using the front brakes, if this were true, bikes wouldn't have front brakes at all. And while it is possible, it's not likely. It sounds correct though. You squeeze the front brakes and momentum carries the back wheel up and over. But today's bikes have larger and more powerful brakes on the front than they do on the rear. Riders don't fly over the handlebars when the bikes are depressed. In fact, they have more control braking from the front than they do from the rear. Okay, now, some of you might agree, some of you might disagree. I use both. I use the front and I use the back. I hear a lot of mixed emotions about using the front brake and using the rear brake, when to use only one. I know if I'm going down a hill at a certain tempo, a certain speed, I'm gonna press that brake a little bit so the front of that fork can compress down a bit to give me more control of the bike. I don't know if y'all know about that. There's a name for it. I just don't know the names of these things. I know things, but I don't know the names of them. But you press that front brake a bit and let that brake. I'm not talking about pressing it hard. So there's times to use the front brake, right? I know also that I don't train myself for front or back, because if my back brake goes out by chance, I want to know that I still have control and you know how to use my front brake, and the vice versa. The same thing goes for the front brake. Leave it in the comments. Let me know what your thoughts are. We got 3 more to go. Oh, other drivers don't care about motorcyclists. Thanks, buddy. Ice and water. Yeah, I'm crazy. I said, this is untrue and pretty heartless urban myths. Other drivers do not want to hit you. Most of the near misses come because they don't know you're there. Sometimes even when you're right in front of them, in plain sight. Being smaller and more elusive than a car, you could be hidden by a glare or obscured by the car's roof pillars or other traffic. Not all drivers think motorcyclists make the effort to look extra hard to stay in plain sight. So you should definitely help make it easy for drivers to spot you. This comes back to wearing bright colors, especially on your helmet or jacket. Run your high beams during the day. Maybe think about things that hide you from driver's vision and avoid those things. Like, for example, like when you're at a stoplight and you're coming up to a stop, press your brake a little bit more so it can flash so the car behind you know that you're there. Also, when you're at the stoplight, we tend to take our hands off the brakes and we're chilling, nothing is behind us. Hold that brake down so that light can be illuminated. You see what I'm saying? Do that. Get off your bike and do some damn jumping jacks. 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2 at the light. Do something. Let them know that you are there. Number 2, and let me know, do you agree with that or not? Because I know that a lot of accidents, people say, I did not see him. I did not see him. I did not see him, okay? That happens a lot. Number 2, it's better to stay in your lane than split lanes, depending on where you live. I think people who have this myth are people who don't ride bikes. A lot of people don't realize that lane splitting is not dangerous. As long as all the cars are at a complete stop and you're moving at a certain tempo, you're not going ridiculously fast, and you're safely maneuvering through traffic, okay? The engine gets really, really hot, and, you know, I like that idea to be able to lane split correctly, not where you see these jackasses doing wheelies and all that and risking people's lives. I wish riders like that, I can snap my finger and they just wake up one day and forget all about knowing how to ride and they go back to their regular everyday jobs. Because if you're one of those guys, you're the ones that's making it bad for people like myself when I'm on the road. And you are making people not like us because they're gonna put us in the same damn category. All right, so I take that personal. Anyway, it says, in most parts of the world, motorcyclists split lanes all the time, pretty much everywhere that traffic is heavy. But in the United States, many people act like lane splitting is foolish and incredibly dangerous. Once again, people who don't ride, okay? But if they actually follow the statistics, they'll see that it is not true. Study the one place in the U.S. where it's legal, and that's California, where I lived for a while. And you'll discover that it actually slides safer to lane split than it is to stay in the one lane doing heavy or slow moving traffic. Still, many cyclists berate other riders when they do it because they don't realize that they should actually be endorsing it. Right, even riders look at people who lane split and call them bad names. Now, once again, the ones who do stupid stuff, those are the ones who got problems with. In California, when I lived in California, I was able to lane split with police officers. And one thing I noticed is that people actually move out the way. When you're cutting through the lanes, they literally move over. When I first got to California, I almost fainted. I was like, what just happened? Oh, whoa. I felt like I was royalty. Call me King Donovan, T'Challa from Wakanda. That's how I felt. All right, you ready for number one? Here goes number one. Brrr. Give me the gunshots. Give me the drum rolls. Here it is. I'm safer on the street than on the interstate. Before I even read this, if you watch any of my videos, you know I'm a big fan of riding local roads, not highways. But I also states that local roads is not necessarily safer because you have other things that can come in your way, other things that can just get in front of you randomly, right? Local roads. In the country where there's not a lot of cross traffics, you're good. I'm good when I'm doing most of that. But local streets are more dangerous than the interstate. Like when you're driving in the main local street, like if I'm in the Bronx and I'm cutting down Webster Ave, listen, there's cars coming from left and right and front, cars flying, the Jetsons, all kinds of stuff, right? So no, it's not safer. Let's read this. Let me see what they say. The idea here is that the slower is safer, but that's only really true after an accident begins. Controlled access roads or interstates are inherently safer because all the traffic is going the same way, and that's how I feel. It's going the same direction. There's no cars coming. And there are no side streets or alleys from which you can pop out. There are no pedestrians and fewer roadside objects to run into if you go off the road. When you're going down the road at 70 miles an hour, side by a sidewall, it might feel sketchy when you're right next to the whirling wheels of a semi-truck. But you are actually safer on the interstate than when you're going half that speed on a city street or even on a country road where things pop out at you all the time. And that's the facts. So when I'm riding on a country road, I'm not riding psychotic, all right? I got a cruiser for a reason. I used to think cruisers were for old people, and I'm now in the old people category because I ride like an old person. I don't want to speed. I don't want to show off. I just want to ride, enjoy my ride. Hey, dog, you better watch my water and don't be hitting my camera, bro. You're a little criminal. Little thief. I ride with common sense. You know what I'm saying? I ride for fun. I don't ride for ego. So when you're riding your motorcycle, just understand that these 20 things, they are actually on point. I like it. I'm gonna link the article where I got it from. I'm curious to hear what you have to say. I want to hear from other riders. If you're not a rider, don't comment. If you never rode a motorcycle in your life, mind your business and just read whatever comments is gonna come. I don't want to hear from you if you don't ride a bike because you would never, ever, ever, ever understand what we're saying. And if you say, well, I ride bicycles, no, just don't. Okay, this is just for the riders. The riders, I want to hear from the riders. All right, this is DG from Ride for the Nation telling y'all, keep it right, keep it going. I can't wait to get this bike done. In the meantime, I'm still finding more things to do. I might go over there and beat my son up or something and just bust him up. You know what I'm saying? Because I'm bored. Leave your comments. Love y'all. Be well. And I'll see you later. Peace.